What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video we're going to be moving on from where we stopped. In the last video we learned how to build this navigation bar right here, and we also included this pop-up right here. Now for this video we're going to be working on the main section, so we're going to be finishing the home page of the website, and we're also going to be making some corrections right here. So without further ado, without wasting much of the time, let's jump right into our VS Code. So now we are in VS Code, and the first thing I noticed was that the animation wasn't working smoothly, and I think it's because of the way our text was aligned. I mean, this button right here, I think the way the button is aligned is what's causing this problem. So I'm just going to try to fix that real quick. So I'm just going to try to look for the button. Hold on. Okay, so we have seen it, and that's home text. So this should be aligned to the right. So I'm going to save this, and that should fix the issue we were having before. When I reload, you can see now when I reload, you can see this button doesn't move with the text animation anymore. So now that has fixed that, and the next thing we want to do now is to head over to our HTML and write the code for the next section. I'm just going to go right here, okay, and I'm going to create a section, and it's going to have a class of trending and also container, and it's also going to have an ID of trending. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to work on the text. So I'm going to create a div and give it a class of heading. And here we're going to have a box icon. So it is going to be like a flame icon. And the next thing we're going to work on is the text. So this is going to be trending NFTs. So save. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is create a new div, and we're going to give this a class of trending content, and also let's just leave it at trending content for now, and head over to your browser and reload. Okay, so now you can see the flame and the text we have right here. So now let's head over to CSS, and I'm just going to copy this class right here and head over to style.css. Okay, so now we are in our CSS file, and I'm just going to paste what we just copied right here, and I'm going to give this a display of flex. The next thing I'm going to do is to align items to the center, and I'm going to give this a column gap of, let's say, a column gap of one rem, and let's give this a margin bottom of 2 rem. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, the heading, and I'm going to paste right here, and I'm going to give this a display of flex. Let's align items to the center. Also going to give this a column gap of 1 rem, and I'm going to give this a margin bottom of 2 rem. Okay, so now the next thing we want to grab is the icon. So let's grab the icon class, which is the BX class, and I'm going to give this a font size of 21 pixels, and let's give this a color of text color, and I'm going to change the background of this. I want the kind of red background we've been using, so that's main color. And let's give this a padding of 10 pixels, and also a border radius of 5 rem. Okay, so now the next thing we want to work on is the H1. So scroll down right here, heading, sorry, H2 rather, H2, and let's give this a font size of 1.2 rem, and let's give this a font width of 500, and head over to your browser. You can see what we have here. Okay, I feel this should be bolder. Hold on, let's see if we made any. No. Okay, I'll just increase this a bit, so let's say 1.5 rem. And okay, I think everything looks correct. So I'm saving this and I'm going to refresh. Okay, so I think the boldness is not reflecting. Let's increase this to 600. So save. Okay, so now it's way better this way. Okay, so now that we're done with that, the next thing we want to work on is the slide, and we're going to be using swiper.js library, which is a really cool library for making different slides. So I'm just going to head over to swiper.js. So now we are on swiper.js, and like I said, it's a really cool library that you should really check out. If you have probably a gallery section that you would like to make or incorporate into your website, I highly recommend swiper.js. And when you go over to the website swiper.js.com, you're going to see get started, and they have live demos. So if you would like to take a look at some, which we'll be doing in this video, all you need to do is to click this button. But for now, we're going to click on get started. Okay, so now we're going to scroll down a bit. Let me just change this to dark mode. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll down to this section right here where it says download assets, and I'm going to click on this. Okay, so now here are the folders we'll be using, or here are the files rather that we'll be using for this video. So the first one is the JS file, and I'm going to open this in a new tab. Okay, so let's wait for it to load up. So it's done loading up, and now the next thing I'm going to do is to click on view raw. So I'm going to get the actual code. Okay, so now we have the code, and I'm just going to save this file. Okay, so now I'm going to save this file as swiperbundlemain.js. So I'm going to click on save. It's going to save the file, and now I'm going to head back to the other page and get the CSS file also. So where is it? Should be somewhere here. Hold on. I don't think we have the swiper.js file saved on in our folder rather, so let's just check real quick. Okay, so it hasn't been saved yet, so head over to the browser and let's try again. So I'm going to open this in a new tab, and here's the CSS file. I'm also going to open this in a new tab, and okay, so let's wait for it to load. Okay, so now I'm going to select view raw, and once again I'm going to save this. So right click and save as. Yes, so we're going to save this, and let's head over to the CSS, and I'm also going to click on view raw, and I'm going to right click on this and save as. Hold on, let's let this load real quick. Okay, so I'm going to save this file also, the CSS file. And okay, while this is loading up, let's head back to swiper.js. Okay, so now let's scroll down to, let's check out the demos, because we're going to be using one of the demos for the slide. Okay, so now we're going to look for the type of effect we want. So first of all, let me close this up, and I'm going to look for this. I think I would like to use this, and now I'm looking for the effect. Okay, so now you can see the effect, and next thing I want to do is to right click on this and open in a new tab. And we also want to get the source code, so I'm going to click on core and open in a new tab also. So now here's the demo for the slide. So you can see when we drag to the other side, you can see the other slides, they load up. Okay, so enough of the demo, and now let's get to the actual code. Now I want to get the source code from the live demo app, and I think they use CodePen for the live demo app, so let's wait to see. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is just to copy the code, and as you can see right here, they have their the swiper.js and swiper CSS linked to their HTML, so we're also going to do that. But before we get there, I just want to copy the code real quick before actually linking them. So now the first thing you can see from this is that they have a class called swiper, so I'm just going to copy this carefully. So copy this, and I'm going to paste in my code. So head over to the index.html, and I'm going to close this tab. Okay, so now we can paste this right here. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to copy this div with a class of swiper slide. Now let's just copy. We have to copy this first. Okay, and we're going to paste in our HTML. Actually, this swiper class should be in trending content, so I'm just going to cut this and paste over here, save this, and I can delete this. We just need one swiper class, and I'm going to duplicate the remaining. Okay, so I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to create a new div for the class of box, and now we can import our image, the image we want to use, which is the first NFT, and this is in our images folder. Okay, so now the name of the image is Bored Ape Yacht Club. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to create a new div with a class of box text, and here we're going to have like a description, and this is going to be our h2, and we're just going to copy the name of the image, and I'm going to paste right here. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to create a h3, and here we're going to say trending. Save this. Okay, so now we're almost done with the first slide, and here we're going to create a new div with a class of rating download, and we're also going to have a div with a class of rating. And so this is going to be like how good the NFT is. So we're going to use a box icon for the star rating. Okay, so now let's give this a 4.7. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is to get a href, a link rather, and we're going to give this a class of, let's say, box btn, and here we're going to have a class. I think we should use the down arrow icon. Okay, so now save this and head over to the browser, and I'm just going to delete all these tabs. Okay, now so let's see what we've done. Okay, so you can see the image and the rating and the drop down arrow right here. So now the next thing we're going to do is to link our swiper.js files. So now let's link the JavaScript file, so src, and now I'm going to grab the swiper main bundle js. Okay, and also let's link the CSS file, and this should be, let's link this right here, link swiper. Okay, so save. I think let's put this right here. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is to grab the JavaScript code for this. So I'm going to copy this code right here, copy, and I'm going to paste in the JavaScript file, the main.js file. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to this point right here, and I'm going to create a comment saying swiper JS code, and I'm going to paste right here. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is to change this class, because we used trending content for our own class. So I'm going to copy that class and paste it over in our JavaScript file, in our JavaScript code rather. So go back to main.js and paste right here. Okay, so now some things we're going to change. We're going to change this to 10. The space between should be 10, and for this section right here, the space between should be, let's say, 15, and this should be 50. Okay, so now we're going to change this view to, let's say, 1060, and the others look fine like this. Okay, let's just see if we don't have any other thing we want to edit. Okay, so this looks okay. So now let's head over to our browser, and I'm going to refresh this. Hopefully it fixes this big image we have right here. So nothing yet. Okay, let's try again. So the image is still very big, and I think the issue is in our JavaScript. Probably we didn't do something correctly. Okay, so over here we have trending content, and it should be trending content with a T at the end. So I'm just going to write that here. Okay, trending content, and I'm going to save this and head over to the browser and refresh. Okay, so now you can see that the image size has reduced, and now we can go over to our HTML and paste a couple of more classes with the swipe wrapper class. Okay, so now I'm just going to copy this file right here. So copy this and scroll down right here and paste. And this image is going to be the meta legend. And I'm going to copy this text and paste right here. Okay. Now the next one should be the clone X, so just go right below this and paste right here. Sorry, copy this once again and paste right here. Okay, so now the next one. Yes, okay. So now the next image is the clone X. Okay, so I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to paste right here. Okay. Okay, so now the next one is the CryptoPunk. CryptoPunk. Okay, so copy this again and paste right here in this H2. Okay, so now we're going to change this also to the mutant. I'm going to copy this, the name of the image, and paste it in this H2. And this one is to do. Okay, I'm going to copy the text again and paste it right here. I think this should be the last one, and this should be the Pepsi. And paste it right here. Okay, so it remains just one more. I'm going to copy this and paste right here. What just happened? Sorry. Okay. So copy this and paste it right here, and this is going to be Kong. Okay, so change this also to Kong. Okay, so now let's head over to the browser to see what we have. Okay, so now we already have some images right here, and you can see when we scroll, you can see how easy it is to scroll. So much easier using the JavaScript library. So I'll be linking the swiper.js library website so you can check it out, and you can even change the slide for this section right here. You can customize your own site. So that's the good thing about programming. There's always something to customize. You can change the slide if you're not really cool with this. You can make it yours and own your own website. So yeah, I definitely think you should try doing that. Okay, so now let's head over to CSS to style this text and the rating. Okay, so now scroll down to this section right here, and the first thing we want to grab is the box. So copy this box class and paste it right here, and we want to give this a position of relative. Let's give this a width of 100%. Let's give this a height of 300 pixels, and let's give this a border radius of 0.5 rem. Okay, so now let's grab the image. So box img, and we want to give this a width 100%, and let's give this height also of 100%, and let's give this object width of cover. So we want this to cover the whole container, and also let's give this a border radius of 0.5 rem. Okay, so now the next thing we want to grab is the text. So head over to the HTML and copy this right here, this class, and we're going to paste right here. Okay, so now we're going to give this a position of absolute, and let's give this a right of 0, and it's also going to have a left of 0, and let's give this a bottom also of 0, and now we're going to give this a padding of 10 pixels, and let's give this a background, and we're going to be using HSL for this. So this is going to be 227.14%. Now the good thing about this is that you can check this out on W3 Schools and customize the color you want. So this is like my own version, this is like my own customization. And now since we're using like a gray color, we do want to add a blur effect to this, so we can do that using backdrop filter, and there's going to be blur of 4 pixels, and we're going to give this a border radius of 0.5 rem. So now let's save to see what we have. I'm going to refresh. Okay, so now you can see the images, and you can see the text right here. So now the next thing we're going to do is to work on this H2. Okay, so scroll down right here and get the box class and also the box text, and we're going to select the H2. We're going to give this a font size of 1 rem and the font width of 500. Okay. Next we want to grab is the H3 box text H3. I want to give this a font size of 0.9 rem, and this isn't going to be so bold, so let's give this a font width of, let's say, 400, and let's also give this a margin bottom of 0.8 rem. Now let's see what we have. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to work on is the rating. So head over to the HTML and copy this class right here. So I'm just going to paste this in this section right here, and this is going to have a display of flex, and we're going to justify content. We're going to add space between. Now we can actually get the stars right now, so copy this rating class right here and paste in this section. Now we're going to give this a display of flex also. And just align the items to the center. Let's give this a column gap of 4 pixels. Give this a background. HSL is 0. Okay, so let's use this. Let's give this a padding of 4 pixels and 4 pixels by 10 pixels. And also let's add the border radius to this, and this should be 0.5 rem. 0.5 rem should do. So now the next thing we want to grab is the icon. So rating.bx. Then I want to give this a color of yellow, the font size of 0.9 rem. Okay, so now let's head over to the browser to see what we've done so far. Okay, so now you can see the nice little rating we have for each NFT. Now I think we should add like an over effect or something for the BX, the icon. When we hover around it, I think we should add something to that. So scroll right here, and I think we have a button class, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so now copy this right here, and we'll go to the section right here, paste the class, and we also want to get the BX. So now let's give this a padding of 8 pixels and a background of text color, and let's give this a border radius of 5 rem, and let's change the color of this to main color. Also, let's give this a font width of 400 and a font size of 20 pixels. So now we can add the hover effect. So select the box btn and select the px class and add your hover effect. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. So now we want the background to become darker when we hover around this. So select the background and give this dark color. So save this and head over to the browser. Okay, so now you can see there's hover effect active around here. Okay, so now head over to the CSS, and over here you can see that we have back face visibility, and it should be background, not back face visibility. So save this and go back. Now you can see we have the white button. So now there's one more thing we need to do, and so we're going to copy this and we're going to give the same style for the rating and the span. So you can see the span right here, which is 4.7. Okay, so now head over to the browser, and now you can see everything looks nice. And when we scroll right here horizontally, you can see that the slide works properly. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to work on the new content section. Okay, so now we can just leave a comment right here saying new section, or new section. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to create a section, and we're going to give this a class of new and also container, and we're also going to give this an ID of new. So now next thing to do is to create a div with a class of heading. And okay, so now we want to use the box icon, and this is going to be the infinite icon, the infinity icon, or infinite or infinite, anyone that goes infinity. So save this, and we're going to have h2 saying latest. So save this, and let's see what we have. Okay, so now what we want to do now is to create a new div, and we're going to give this div a class of new content. And right here we're going to have our box, and we're going to use some of the images with the we sold as NFT. So now if you do remember from the previous video where I taught you how to list an NFT for free using OpenSea, and to do that you have to switch from Ethereum blockchain to Polygon blockchain. So if you do have your NFT, make sure you go back right now and grab your link, then you can paste right here because we're going to be using it. Okay, so now I've gotten my images, and now the first thing I'm going to do is to okay, so the name of the image is NFT 3. So now if you have your own NFT, do make sure you add or incorporate your NFT into this project. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to create a div with a class of box text, and we're going to give this h2. This is going to be goofy monster. Save this, and we're going to have a h3, and this is going to be latest. Save, And okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to give this, we're going to use the rating download class. So rating download, and we're going to have deal with the class of rating again, and this is going to have a box icon of, let's say, bx star, bxs star, and lastly we're going to have span, and this is going to be 4.8. so save this, and the last thing we're going to do is to actually link the NFT. So I'm going to go over here. I already have the link to my own NFT, so from the previous video, make sure you watch that. I'm going to leave it in the description for you to check out. So yeah, let's go back to the browser, and here's the first NFT. Okay, so now let's start this in our CSS. So the first thing I want to do is to copy this new content class and head over to style.css. Okay, scroll down to this section right here, that should do, and I'm going to paste this right here and give this a display of grid, and we're going to be using grid template columns for this. It's going to be a repeat auto fit, and it's going to have a min max of 240 pixels by 250 pixels. So save this, and also let's give this a gap of 1.2 rem. So save this. Okay, so now you can see the first NFT. Now the next thing we're going to do is just to copy this and paste a couple of times, and we'll have like a really nice grid for this section, and we're almost done. After that, we're going to work on the footer, and we're going to make the web page responsive. Okay, so now back to the HTML, and we do want to add this button to this section right here. So we're just going to add the class. So scroll right here, and we're going to add the class to this section. Let's just add the class to the anchor tag right here, and this is going to be box btn, and we're going to have the box icon right here, and it's going to be the down arrow icon, down arrow. So save this, and go back to the browser and refresh. Now you can see we have the download button, and when we click on this, when you actually hover on this, you can see the URL appears on the bottom. So when you click on this, it takes you to so when you click on this, it takes you to the OpenSea website. So when you click on this, see, it actually loads up the OpenSea. So you can see it redirects them to OpenSea where they can pay for the NFT. So I'm just going to close this up and go back to our HTML, and I'm going to copy this box class right here. So I'm going to copy this and paste and duplicate this a couple of times. So paste right here, over here. Okay, and now we're going to get rid of this URL, or we can simply leave it so everything goes over to the OpenSea account or the OpenSea sales page. Now we can easily duplicate this in our VS Code. So head over to your VS Code, and we do want to change the name of this image. This image right here is going to be cutter cat, and remember I said we want to copy the image name and paste it in this H2. So paste it right here, and you can leave the OpenSea link. So I'm just going to copy this div again, and I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, so this is going to be a new image. So we're going to use Hologram. Okay, so remember to copy this image name and paste right here. So let's duplicate this again. Let's just paste a couple of times, and we can work on them. We can edit them after pasting. So this is going to be counts. Okay. And this is going to be our own NFT image. So this is NFT 5, and the next one is going to be, okay, for the NFT 5, let's just add our own name to it. So this is going to be sad monster, and this image, we're going to change this to squish. Okay, so we'll also change the text to squish. And I think that should be all. So now we can get rid of these extra divs that we're not using. So save this, and let's head over to the browser and refresh. Okay, so scroll down. And I think we should have like 2 more. Yeah, we can have 2 more just to make it 8. So let's just copy this again. And paste it right here, so we can use another image. Let's use the Pepsi mic drop. So copy this text and paste it right here. So now the last one. Just want to check if we copied it properly. Okay. So now the last one. I don't know the image to use right now. Just see, let's go through. Okay, so let's use that image. So desperate. Let's just copy copy the image name and paste it right here, and that should be all. Okay, so now we are done with that section. So now the next thing we want to do is to make the website responsive, and then we're going to add we're going to get rid of this scroll bar right here, and we're going to move it to the top section right here, and we're going to do that using JavaScript. So yeah, so now let's make the website responsive. I think we should make the scroll bar first. So head over to your JavaScript, and now we can get rid of this. Don't save. Okay, so now scroll down to the section right here, and now let's just leave a comment for custom scroll bar. So now we're going to say window dot on scroll equals function So now we're creating a function to enable the custom scroll bar that we want to make. Okay, and this is our function name. So now we're going to create some variables. Scroll equals document dot body dot scroll top Okay, so that's the first line. Now, next thing we want to do is to declare another variable, and this is going to be height. So document dot document element just scroll height and document element dot client height. Another variable. And now we are done. Okay, so now we are done, and let's see if we have it enabled. So let's just inspect if we have an error. So it says we have an error on line. Excuse me, it said we have an error on line 119. Cannot read property. Okay, so let's check our JavaScript file with line 119. So now the next thing we have to do is to create a div for the scroll bar effect. So head over to your HTML. So let's go to our HTML, scroll up right to this section right here just before the header, and I'm going to write custom. Scroll bar. Okay, so now let's create a div and give it a class of progress, and in this div we're also going to have a sub div. We're going to create a new div rather and give it a class of progress bar and also an ID of scroll bar. So now we can go to our CSS and style this. Okay, so let's go to our CSS, and I'm going to scroll up right about here. Okay, and I'm just going to write custom scroll bar. Okay, and I'm going to get the progress class, and I'm going to give this a position of fixed. The next thing I'm going to do is to give this a left of 0. Let's give this a top also of 0. Let's give this a width of 100%, height of 4 pixels, Z index of 300. And the next thing we're going to work on is the progress bar. So copy this class carefully and paste in your CSS. We're going to give this a height also of 4 pixels, and we're going to give this a background color, of main color, and we're going to give this a width of 100%. So save this and head over to your browser. Let's refresh and hopefully changes. Okay, so I guess there's something wrong here. Let's refresh again. So for some reason it's not working, so let's inspect this to check the error. So okay, so let's go back to our HTML, and I feel we need to put this second div right here in the progress div. So let's put this progress bar in the progress div, and we should have a tangible result. So let's wait for it to refresh. Okay, so now you can see we have this horizontal line here, and when we scroll down you can see it has like a scrolling effect as we scroll down, and when we scroll back up you can see the effect going back. So now the next thing we want to do is to make this website completely responsive, and we'll be using CSS Grid for that. So let's go to our CSS and start working on the responsiveness. Okay. So I'll scroll down to this section right here, and I'm going to say media queries, and right here I'm going to say media max width should be 1080 pixels, and the first thing we're going to select is the container, and we want to give this a margin of 0 auto, and let's give this a width of 90%. So I'll save. Okay, So now the next thing we're going to do is to select the nav. I'm going to give this a padding of 10 pixels, 10 pixels by 0 pixel. So save this also. And I also want to select the notification, and let's give this a right of 4 rem. So save. And now the next thing we're going to select is I think we should check what we have so far. So save this and let's see. So go to inspect, and I'm going to increase the width to okay. So this should do. This should do. Okay, so you can see it's still somehow. So I'm just going to refresh this and hopefully it's properly aligned. So let me close this, refresh the browser. Refresh the browser, hold on. Okay, now let's inspect this and we shouldn't have any issues. Okay, so here's the browser, here's what we have. Okay, so now this looks better, way better. Okay, so let's go back to VS Code. And now the next thing we're going to select is the image, the menu image. So say menu img, and we want to give this a width of 300 pixels. So save this. Okay, so now let's select the nav. So go over here, select the nav, and we want to give this a padding. Now we've already given the nav a padding. Let's select the section, and we want to give this a padding of 3 rem, 0 and 2 rem. Okay, now let's select the home, and here we just want to give this a margin top, of 4 rem, and we want to make this important. So the so this will be enabled, and let's give this a mean height of 440 pixels. Okay, so now the next thing we want to grab is the home img, home image, and we want to give this a border radius of 1 pixel, or let's say 1 rem. Okay, so now we can grab the new content, and we want to give this a grid template column, repeat, auto fit, and I want to give this a min max of 200 pixels auto. So save. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to select is the image container, and I want to give this a margin top. So I'm just going to make this align properly. So we're going to give this a margin top of 5 rem. Okay, so now you can save this. Let's refresh. Okay, so now the next size we want to work on is for medium sized devices. So let's say at media max width of 774 pixels. And first thing we want to select is the notification, and we want to give this a right. We want to give this a right of 1 rem. And now the next one we want to grab is the menu image, the menu img, and we're going to give this a width of 400 pixels. Okay, so now let's grab the home and we can give this a mean height of 300 pixels. And now the next thing we want to grab is the btn, and we can give this a padding of 12 pixels by 17 pixels. Okay, so now let's add a media query for smaller devices. Media max width of 550 pixels, and we want to give this menu img, I want to make this have a display of none. Okay, also the menu, let's grab the menu and justify contents flex end. Nice. Now let's grab the nav, and we want to give this a padding of 8 pixels by 0 pixel. Now let's grab the nav icon, the px class, and the menu icon, and we want to give this a height of 40 pixels and also a width of 40 pixels. So now let's grab the home, scroll down to this section right here. I think we should check what we've done so far. Let's see what we have. So head over to your browser and let's reduce the width to below 700 pixels. Okay, so nice. Now also we're going to work on the footer for this website, so let's just finish with the responsiveness and then we can work on the footer. So back to your CSS, okay, and like I said, let's work on the home class. Let's give this a mean height, and this is going to be 240 pixels, and also let's give this a home. Let's select the home text and give this a padding right, and let's give this 1 rem. Next one we're going to grab is the paragraph tag. Give this a font size of 0.85 rem. Okay, so now let's work on the last media query, and that's for mobile devices. So say at media max width of 360 pixels. Now let's select the logo and give this a font size of 1.2 rem. Also select the navbar navbar, and let's select the anchor tag and reduce the font size of this to 1.3 rem. Now let's add the over effects. And reduce the font size of this to 1.4 rem. And let's select the notification class and reduce the width of this to 270 pixels. Now let's grab the home, do this a minimum width of, let's say 214 pixels should do. And now let's grab the home text H1 and give this a font size of 1.4 rem. Let's grab the BX, heading BX class for the icon, and give this a padding, general padding of 8 pixels will do. And now let's select the box class and give this a height of 420 pixels. So save this. Now let's work on the copyright text for the footer. So scroll down to this section right here. Let's scroll down. Okay, so before doing that, I just want to quickly add something to this section right here, and that's the link to the next page. So say next page, and we want to create an anchor tag, and is going to go to the next page. Let's just leave it as hash for now, and this should say next page. Save this. Okay, so now let's work on the footer. Copyright footer. Okay, so let's create a div and give the class of copyright, and also a class of container. And over here we're going to have our anchor tag, and this is going to have a class of logo. And of course we're going to say NFT. Let's create a span NFT store, and let's just create a copyright text and copy code my hobby, all rights reserved. Now you can customize this to whatever your niche is. Mine is currently called My Hobby, the name of the channel, and you can use the name of your NFT brand for this copyright text. So save this and let's see what we have. Okay, so you can see the text right here. So good. Now we can style this in our CSS. Okay, so go back to the HTML and let's just copy this for now. So Ctrl C, copy this, and I'm just going to scroll up just before the media queries. I'm going to paste this right here, next page, and first of all I'm going to give this a display of flex. Let's just flex was for this, and justify the contents to the center. Also let's align items to the center, and give this a margin top of 3 rem. Save. Okay, so now we can work on the anchor tag. Now let's give this a background of main color. Give this a padding of 12 pixels by 20 pixels. And so let's give this a color of text color, and let's add some spacing to this. So we're going to use letter spacing. Let's just say 1 pixel, that should do. And let's give this a font width of 500. Now we can make it nice by adding a hover effect on this. So scroll down right here and let's select the next page, the anchor tag, and I want to give this a hover effect. So when we hover on it, we want the background to change to light color, and the transition should be for 0.4 second, 0.4 s, or linear. Save this. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to grab the copyright class. So we'll copy this and paste it carefully right here, and let's give this a display of flex, justified content, and there should be space in between. And let's give this a padding of 20 pixels should do. And okay, so now let's grab the paragraph tag right here. So say copyright paragraph, and let's give this a font size of 0.9 rem and a color of text color. So save this and let's refresh. Okay, so now you can see the button we have right here, and now the website is completely responsive. So when we switch to mobile view, you can see how responsive it is, and the slide also works. Okay, so you can see the navigation bar working very well. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, guys, and in the next one we're going to be working on the download page, and in the other tutorial we're going to be deploying this project live. So stick with me to the end of this project, and we're going to be working on more projects and more projects coming up.